For more on China's box office, we're joined by filmmaker and Forbes contributor Adam Faze. Adam, thanks for joining us.
Pleasure to be here.
Adam, cinema attendance in China in July was down by 15%, part of a slowdown trend. Ticket sales in the 3 months to June falling by 10%. Now, that marked the first drop in 5 years. And this data, according to box office tracker ENT Group. Adam, why are we seeing this decline?
Well, up until this point, the majority of ticket sales being done was through discount ticket services, similar to a service like Groupon here in the United States. And it wasn't uncommon to find tickets for movies like Transformers for under $2, even less for domestic releases. So with China's movie economy stabilizing and tickets going up in price, it's a rarity these days to find tickets priced under $7. So because of that, there's a whole segment of the population that's no longer able to see movies on a weekly basis. But I don't think it's cause for alarm just yet. If you look at the statistics, back in 2013, China has made more money in the first 6 months of 2016 with its box office than all of 2013.
It certainly has been a growing industry, but this drop in ticket sales that we're seeing now, is it mostly for domestic movies or foreign/Hollywood films, or is it evenly distributed?
I would say it's a majority of domestic releases right now. We've had a lack of American films this summer, and the domestic releases that have come out have not been performing as well as the producers have hoped for. I think that's why it's a reason that we should have more American films in the marketplace, just because that's what's getting people excited. I was just talking to someone that came back from China, and they said people just aren't that excited about the films being out right now.
Okay, so you're saying that a big factor here is less than compelling content. I mean, I know there are times when I go see a movie 6 times in 6 months and once or twice in a year, depending on the content. Were there any big blockbuster hits that were expected to be hits in China and weren't?
I mean, it definitely has a lot to do with compelling content. A lot of films have been hit in China by bad word of mouth. In fact, earlier this month, there was a Chinese film called Time Raiders that was destined to be a huge hit, and it had a great opening weekend thanks to the 2 stars' big fan base. But unfortunately sank in the past weekend's box office just because of bad word of mouth. So it's extremely important that producers focus on making quality content, because that's what audiences are craving for right now. And bad word of mouth will just make sure that a film does not make it in the box office.
Well, content is certainly king, but how much of this decline could be due to Chinese just moving more towards streaming and watching movies at home rather than going to the cinemas?
Look, piracy is a huge issue in China, and that will only get greater at this time. China is starting to crack down on these marketplaces, but it's a problem internationally. There's not that much you can do to stop people from illegally downloading a movie in a matter of seconds. It's important for American films especially to be released in China before or at the same time being released elsewhere, just because otherwise you're giving weeks to people to watch films online. So it's really important that we get movies there as soon as possible to incentivize people to come to the theaters. Specifically streaming, Netflix has not come into China yet, but there are services similar to Netflix that exist in that marketplace, and people like staying home. So it's really up to the movie theaters to incentivize audiences to come out.
China is rebalancing its economy towards a consumer-driven one. Is the drop in movie ticket sales perhaps a red flag about Chinese consumers? Are they feeling the pinch of slowing growth? Is this a concern?
While I think there is a segment of the Chinese population that is more cautiously spending its money, if we remember correctly, the movie industry almost always does even better during a recession. In fact, in 2009, the U.S. had one of its highest grossing years of all time in the midst of the largest recession since the Great Depression. So in fact, I think it's a decline in an economy that actually boosts the film industry, since people want an escape. So I really do think that the problem here was just a lack of compelling content. And I would wait until next Friday when Jason Bourne and Ice Age 5 open before commenting on the growth of China's movie industry.
Okay, so China was expected to overtake the U.S. as the biggest box office or movie market by the end of 2017. Is China still on track to do that?
Absolutely. I think it's an easy task for them. While there has been this decline in the past few months, we have to remember that they had the largest 5-day opening of all time just in June with Warcraft, and they even had the highest grossing film of all time earlier this year with The Mermaid. So I think as we're going to see more American films come into the marketplace, we're going to see China's movie economy boost again. It's just a matter of the quality content that comes out in the next 2 years and if it's enough to get audiences excited.
All right, well, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much, Adam Faze, filmmaker and Forbes contributor.
If you like what you just saw, follow us on social media and visit our website, CCTV-America.com.